This is Dan Ferrisi, editor of Sound and Communications Magazine, joined by Chuck Collins, Vice President of Sales with Digital Projection. Thanks so much for joining me, Chuck.
Sure. Nice to see you, man.
Appreciate your time. As far as this COVID-19 crisis we're all dealing with, we're all trying to come to terms with, there's been a lot of shelter in place orders, work from home orders, the whole idea of social distancing. How have Digital Projection's business operations been affected?
Well, the shelter-in-place order finally came down last night, or the warning thereof, from our governor here in Georgia, and we're waiting for a definition from them exactly what is an essential business, and the exact definition of shelter-in-place. Believe it or not. We have been most of us have been working from home for the last 2.5 weeks. The non-essential people are able to work from home. And then we have essential folks working at Digital Projection. Now our customer service people all volunteered to stay there at work because it's easier for them to do their job. Of course, the warehouse stayed there so they could ship projectors and LED product out. And then tech support is still there as well, fixing products or updating or upgrading products. And then application support, we have several folks in that department. They answer the questions of our dealers and business partners all day. Two of them are staying in the office because we have a mock-up room where they can mock things up and try things out that need to be worked on. And then the other two are working from home, and then they rotate. But that could all change here in the next 48 hours, depending on exactly what the governor tells us to do.
So in terms of shipping and your supply chain, obviously your customers, your clients want their projectors, they want their Radiance DirectView LED products. How has shipping been affected? How has your supply chain been affected? Has there been any diminution in your ability to get products to people?
Well, that's a good question. The supply chain has not been too affected here in the US yet, but our products come from Taiwan and China. And of course, this hit a lot earlier there. And so our factory is expected to be back to 100% this month, April. But they suffered a little bit because there were mandatory closures there. Fortunately, we, between the tariffs and converting over to mostly TAA compliant products last year, we have a lot of product here in the States. So not much way of shipping has suffered. And the supply chain is going to be back to normal by late this month in our factories. So we should be in good shape. Well, the future, it remains to be seen what happens. But as long as we can ship, we have the products. It might be a little bit slower because air freight has gone up dramatically. And so we'll seek remedies to that, including shipping by boat and shipping just critical needs via air.
Given the challenges Digital Projection is facing, as virtually every business is facing, obviously we had the federal stimulus, which was recently one tranche of a number of different tranches that eventually come. Have you had any opportunity at this point to look into the details of that and find out whether, or is it really too early to say?
Well, at Digital Projection, fortunately, everybody's still employed, and we anticipate that not to change anytime soon. So I don't think we'll need to take advantage of the CARE Act, but we're more interested in how that's going to affect our business partners, some of the smaller dealers and smaller businesses out there. And we just hope that it takes care of them, and when business does get back to normal or the new normal, they'll be able to hit the ground running. But so far, Thankfully, it hasn't affected us, or the need for it hasn't affected us.
As a good corporate citizen in the commercial AV industry, a well-known brand name player in the commercial AV industry, I'm just wondering if digital projection might have any words of wisdom or advice, any ideas you might want to share with your fellow peers in the industry who are struggling through what could be a historically tough time.
Yeah, it'd be naive of me to think that I could give advice to some of the people that are running their own businesses out there, but what I can say is hang in there. This is obviously unlike anything we've ever experienced before. Fortunately, the federal government has put in what appears to be some pretty good stimulus packages to get us back up, to keep us running and to get us back up as quickly as possible. We're hanging in there. We're trying to stay in constant communication with everybody to let them know what's going on. And we just hope the best for everybody. Tough times, it's hard to predict, you know.
Yeah, I think constant communication is key, since we really have to be physically distant from each other, from other people. Going to video conferences, webinars, any kind of means to try to mind share and figure our way through this, even though we can't be together physically, I think may be very important.
You know, one thing that has really changed is the way we communicate with our customers. We have been doing webinars all week long, and they're all been very well attended. We've been doing the, you know, with Zoom or GoToMeeting, or it's been really fantastic. And I think it will change. You know, all of our business partners have been selling this technology for years and years and years. It's the first time that we at Digital Projection have embraced it so deeply. We've used it for years, but gosh, it's going to change the way we do business moving forward, no doubt.
Absolutely. Hopefully this is a very fleeting issue, but actually, as you say, the kind of communication adaptations we've had to make could be long-lasting ones.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, thank you again, Chuck. I really do appreciate your time. I appreciate your insights. Best to you, the Digital Projection family, all your colleagues and peers. And I look forward to seeing you at the next trade show. We can just put a video.
Whenever that will be.
Yes, hopefully sooner rather than later. Thank you once again.
Okay, thank you.
Dan Ferrisi with Sound and Communications Magazine, joined by Chuck Collins with Digital Projection.